He bought a hangar for $12. The ancient warship was junk, but its guardian shocked him. Marcus Hale had never been lucky, or maybe he was just good at finding things that everyone else ignored. Today, that talent had brought him to the farthest edge of human-settled space, where old auctions of abandoned stations and relics of forgotten civilizations were common. Most of it was junk, the kind of stuff that barely held value even to scavengers. But Marcus didn't care. He liked junk. To him, junk meant potential, something hidden, waiting for someone clever enough to see it. The auction hall was quiet, except for the faint hum of generators and the occasional metallic clang echoing through the corridors. Dust danced in beams of sunlight filtering through cracked windows. Marcus's eyes roamed across the catalog floating in his handheld console, scanning hangars, storage bays, and wrecked shuttles. Most were overpriced for things that barely worked, but one listing caught his eye. Hangar number 12. Price, $12. Condition, unknown. Contains unknown spacecraft. Buyer beware. $12. Even for Marcus, that was ridiculous. He laughed softly, shaking his head. Couldn't even buy a decent meal for that in the outer sectors, he muttered. And yet, something about the listing pulled at him. Perhaps it was the simplicity, the total neglect. Whoever had listed this hangar clearly didn't care if it stayed abandoned. Or maybe, just maybe, there was something inside that was worth far more than $12. Marcus didn't think. He paid the price through his console, and instantly, the auction confirmed his purchase. A small access code flashed onto his screen. With a grin, Marcus headed to hangar number 12. The hangar was isolated on the far side of the station. Its doors were rusted, panels dented, and paint peeling from decades of neglect. Marcus pushed the control panel, but the main door didn't respond. He sighed and tapped the emergency override. With a groan and a shower of sparks, the massive door slowly opened, revealing darkness inside. The first thing Marcus noticed was the smell. Oil, dust, and something faintly electric, like static before a storm. Then his eyes caught the outline of something enormous. A ship, or what had once been a ship. Its hull was scarred, dented, and covered in grime. But even through the layers of decay, Marcus could see it had once been magnificent. A warship, easily hundreds of meters long, built with technology far beyond current human understanding. He stepped inside, letting his boots crunch over broken tiles and scattered tools. The interior of the hangar smelled of old circuits and neglect. Marcus walked slowly around the ship, his fingers brushing over the cold metal, feeling the ridges of battle scars frozen in time. The ship seemed alive, not in a way that would harm him, but in the subtle hum of energy running beneath its surface. Faint, but persistent. Then he saw it. A figure, seemingly floating just above the deck of the ship. A humanoid shape in a suit that shimmered faintly despite the grime and dust. Marcus froze. What the hell? His heart pounded as the figure's eyes opened. They glowed with a soft, pale light. And then, before he could react, it vanished. Marcus blinked, rubbed his eyes, and shook his head. I'm losing it, he muttered. But he knew what he had seen. Some kind of guardian. Some kind of sentinel still attached to the ship. Most scavengers would have left at that point, but Marcus's curiosity refused to let him. He circled the warship, examining panels, hatches, and ports. Most of it was broken or in disrepair, but small systems still hummed with life. Enough that Marcus guessed the ship could be reactivated. He knelt by a panel, opening it carefully, revealing ancient circuits that glowed faintly with a blue light. Marcus traced the connections with his fingers, feeling a thrill of excitement. Human technology might have nothing on this, but human ingenuity could still find a way to unlock it. Hours passed. Marcus tinkered with small controls, cleaning rusted connectors, sparking the systems back to life bit by bit. And all the while he felt that presence, that watchful gaze of the guardian. It didn't move or attack. It just observed. At times, Marcus swore he felt the figure nudging him in the right direction, guiding his hands toward a component he hadn't understood before. As the sun set outside the station, the hangar was bathed in shadows. Marcus wiped sweat from his brow, leaning against the hull of the warship. "All right," he said softly. "You've been sitting here for centuries, and now you've got me. Let's see what you can do." That's when the ship shivered. Not violently, but like it had exhaled after holding its breath for 100 years. Panels flickered to life. Lights traced the contours of the hull. The hum deepened, resonating through Marcus's chest. And then, almost like a voice in his head, he heard a thought. "You are not ready, but you may be worthy." Marcus froze. The voice was calm, firm, and undeniably intelligent. He swallowed hard. Who are you?" he asked aloud, though he knew the answer wouldn't come in words. "I am Arian, guardian of this vessel, protector of the secrets it carries. And you are unexpected." Marcus laughed nervously. "Unexpected? You haven't even seen me yet. I'm just some guy who buys junk. Yet here you are, and you do not flee." For the first time, Marcus felt something he hadn't in years. Awe. Not fear, not excitement, but real awe. He was standing in front of something older than most human colonies. Something that had survived wars humans didn't even know existed. And it had noticed him. The night stretched long. Marcus and Arian communicated silently, exchanging thoughts and emotions rather than words. Marcus learned that the warship had been part of an ancient fleet built to fight enemies humanity had never imagined. Arian had been its guardian, its protector, waiting for someone capable of understanding the vessel's secrets without destroying it. Marcus worked tirelessly, cleaning circuits, adjusting power conduits, and experimenting with dormant control panels. Each small success brought a thrill he hadn't felt in years. He was fixing something centuries older than any human-made ship and discovering technology that should have been impossible. And through it all, Arian guided him, correcting mistakes silently, occasionally nudging his hands or thoughts toward the right solution. By the end of the night, Marcus had managed to activate the ship's secondary power systems. Lights traced the hull's ancient glyphs, glowing faintly in the dark hangar. The ship wasn't fully alive, but it was breathing again, awakening slowly from centuries of slumber. Marcus stepped back, exhausted but exhilarated. "I can't believe this," he muttered. "I came here expecting junk, and I found a warship and a ghost." "I am not a ghost," Arian replied, its voice calm and firm. "I am a sentinel. And now, you are part of this story. You may not know it yet, but humanity is not forgotten. Even after all these years, your kind's ingenuity and courage are notable." Marcus blinked. You think humans are notable?" "More than you understand," Arian said. "You adapt, you survive. You improvise. These traits make you remarkable." The word sent a thrill through Marcus. He had always known humans could do incredible things when pushed to the edge, but hearing it from an ancient intelligence, centuries older than human civilization itself, made it real. He looked around the hangar, at the rusted panels, the flickering lights, and the massive warship that seemed to pulse with life beneath his fingers. Marcus smiled. "I guess I'm not just buying junk today, I'm joining history." Arian's presence pulsed faintly in agreement. History is waiting for those who dare. But be warned, others will come, and not all are friendly. Marcus's stomach tightened. He had already known that word of this ship would not stay secret for long. Pirates, scavengers, maybe even governments, all would want a warship like this. But he didn't flinch. He had survived worse. He had humans' greatest weapon on his side, ingenuity. And now he had Arian. As he powered down for a few hours of sleep, Marcus felt the hum of the ship beneath him, the faint pulse of its life slowly syncing with his own. He couldn't sleep. Not entirely. There was too much to do, too much to explore, too much to understand. The warship was ancient, yes, but Marcus knew that even junk could hold wonders beyond imagination, especially when guided by human curiosity. The hangar, silent and dusty for decades, had awoken, and so had something else. The realization that Marcus, a man who bought a hangar for $12, had stumbled into something far greater than he could ever have imagined. Somewhere in the depths of the ship, the systems whispered secrets of battles long past. Outside, stars stretched endlessly, indifferent, but beautiful. And between them, Marcus Hale felt something new: hope, awe, and the thrilling weight of discovery. For the first time in his life, he wasn't just a scavenger. He was a pioneer, standing at the edge of history, hand in hand with something humanity had never met before. And the adventure had only just begun. The next morning, Marcus woke to a soft hum vibrating through the hangar. Sunlight filtered through the cracked panels, but the warship's glow seemed brighter than before, tracing patterns across the dusty floor. He stretched, rubbing the sleep from his eyes, and realized that Arian, the Guardian, was no longer just a flickering presence. It hovered steadily, almost materialized, with faint flowing energy surrounding its form. "Good morning," Marcus said cautiously, unsure if he was speaking aloud or if Arian could hear his thoughts. "Good morning," Arian replied, the voice calm and deliberate, echoing softly in Marcus's mind. "You have repaired some systems, enough to begin trust. I am observing your capacity to adapt. Humans are intriguing." Marcus smiled. "Intriguing, huh? You're the first intelligence in 1,000 years to call me that." Arian pulsed faintly, a motion that Marcus felt as a shiver along his spine. Not the first human, but the first to approach with curiosity rather than greed. Most would have destroyed this vessel by now, or stolen it without thought. Marcus glanced at the ship, its hull shining faintly under the morning light. It looked less like junk and more like a sleeping giant. He had patched minor power conduits, cleaned debris, and managed to power a few auxiliary systems. But the ship was far from operational. Its true potential was hidden, locked behind alien technology and a command core Marcus didn't yet understand. "Today," Arian continued, "we begin the true awakening. But know this, you are vulnerable. Others may come. You cannot face them alone." Marcus nodded, a familiar thrill rushing through him. Danger didn't scare him. It sharpened him. He had grown up on the fringe, surviving on instinct and cleverness. And now he had an ancient warship and its guardian at his side. The possibilities were dizzying. He climbed into the cockpit, panels of alien glyphs illuminating under his hands. The interface seemed alive, responding subtly to his touch. Arian's presence filled the room, guiding Marcus silently. For hours they worked. Marcus learned to manipulate the ship's minor systems, bring its lights and sensors online, and even power a few dormant thrusters. He wasn't piloting it yet, but the ship responded to him like a child learning to trust its parent. By midday, Marcus had activated the warship's archive systems. Holographic screens filled the cockpit, showing fragments of star maps, fleet diagrams, and long-extinct alien races. His jaw dropped as he scrolled through centuries-old battle logs. Entire civilizations had risen and fallen while humanity had barely spread to a handful of planets. "These systems are dangerous," Arian warned. "The knowledge stored here can destroy worlds if used unwisely. You must be careful." "I get it. I'm careful, mostly," he chuckled, though the humor didn't mask his awe. "I can't believe I'm touching this stuff. It's insane." "Human resourcefulness is notable," Arian said. "Even in your naivety, you show qualities most civilizations lose over centuries: adaptation, improvisation, courage." Marcus grinned. "Well, you're not so bad yourself." for a glowing space ghost. Arian's energy pulsed, almost like a laugh. Do not underestimate the subtleties of ancient guardians. You will learn this soon. Their quiet study was interrupted by movement outside the hangar. Marcus froze, ears straining. Through the cracked panels, he could see small ships approaching. Scouts, pirates. He had known word of the warship wouldn't stay secret. Now it was here. "Arion," he whispered. "We've got company." "I see them," Arion replied, calm but firm. "They are unprepared for the consequences. They do not know the danger they invite." Marcus didn't wait for them to dock. He powered auxiliary thrusters, sending the hangar doors sliding shut with a thunderous clank. The approaching ships began to hover outside, scanning. Marcus could see their lights, their weapons, their intent to steal whatever he had found. "All right," he muttered to himself. "Time to see what humans can really do." He remembered Arion's earlier words. Humans adapt. Humans improvise. That was their edge. Marcus quickly grabbed a few of his old drones from storage, wiring them into the hangar's grid. The drones whirred to life, forming a defensive perimeter. The pirates' small attack ships fired blindly, but the drones reacted faster than expected, deflecting lasers and setting off shock pulses. Outside, the pirate commander cursed. "What the hell? They're using... what is that?" Marcus smirked. "Improvisation, buddy. That's what humans do." The pirates were persistent. They began targeting the hangar doors with more power. But Marcus was ready, using a combination of old magnetic traps, deflector shields partially powered by the warship, and his drones. He managed to slow them down. Every move felt like a game of chess, with death as the stakes. And through it all, Arion guided him silently, showing him weaknesses in the enemy formations he would never have noticed. Hours passed. Marcus was exhausted, but the pirate ships retreated, unable to break through. For a moment, the hangar was quiet again. The warship pulsed faintly, almost in approval. Marcus slumped against the console. "We did it," he said breathlessly. "Not fully," Arion replied. "But you survived. And you adapted. That is why humans endure. Even when faced with overwhelming odds, you find solutions others cannot conceive." Marcus looked at the ship, feeling a strange sense of camaraderie. This massive ancient vessel, capable of destroying entire fleets, was now on his side. And he realized that the warship, along with its guardian, wasn't just a weapon. It was a teacher. And he was its student. By evening, Marcus had begun exploring the ship's interior beyond the hangar bay. The corridors were wide and hollow, humming faintly with latent power. Strange glyphs glowed faintly along the walls, responding to his presence. He touched one, and a holographic projection sprang to life. A star map, showing thousands of worlds, some long extinct, some unfamiliar even to humans. "This is the reach of the civilizations that built me," Arion said, its tone reverent. "They wielded power without wisdom. Their pride was their downfall. Humans may yet avoid their fate." Marcus leaned closer to the map. "You really think humans can survive all this? I mean, we're just getting started in space." "Your adaptability is rare," Arion replied. "Your ingenuity is beyond measure. Your courage. You display it without thinking. These qualities may be the key. If you survive the coming trials, humanity may claim its place among the stars." The words made Marcus's chest tighten. He had always known humans could endure, could fight, could innovate. But to hear an ancient being older than most civilizations validated, it was exhilarating. Suddenly, alarms blared. Not outside, inside. The ship itself was responding. Panels flickered. The warship was waking further. Marcus ran to the cockpit as Arion's form pulsed faster, almost agitated. "You have activated an ancient system," Arion explained. "It is the ship's defensive matrix. I will guide you, but you must act quickly." Outside, the hangar walls shimmered as defensive shields engaged. Marcus had never seen anything like it. The energy flared across the hull, creating a protective barrier that repelled drones and sensors alike. The warship, even in its dormant state, was alive and aware. And now, it was learning him, testing his instincts. A small fleet of enemy ships tried to penetrate the shield. Marcus's heart pounded as he watched lasers deflect harmlessly, missiles dissolve before impact. He realized the warship wasn't just defending. It was learning, reacting, adapting, like him. "You are beginning to understand," Ariane said. "Together we may survive. Together we may succeed where others fail. This is the strength of humanity. You improvise. You endure. You rise." Marcus felt a surge of determination. He reached out, touching the main console, feeling the hum of energy under his fingertips. "Let's see what else you can do," he said, voice steady despite adrenaline coursing through him. For hours he experimented, combining human ingenuity with the ship's ancient systems. He created traps for the enemy, set decoys, and even rigged automated strikes using dormant turrets. Each success brought another wave of awe from Ariane, another pulse of life through the warship. By nightfall, the last of the pirates retreated, cursing and confused. Marcus sat in the cockpit, sweat and grime on his face, staring at the massive ship he now commanded. The hum of energy felt like a heartbeat. The warship had survived centuries. Humanity had survived countless dangers. And now, together, they had proven that cleverness, courage, and adaptability were worth more than raw power alone. "This is only the beginning," Ariane said. "Others will come. The galaxy holds threats that will test you beyond imagination, but you are ready to face them. You are human." Marcus smiled, exhaustion mixing with exhilaration. "Then let's show them what humans can do." And somewhere deep in the ship, hidden behind layers of ancient technology, the warship whispered secrets of battles long past. Marcus knew that unlocking them would take time, patience, and ingenuity. But one thing was clear. He wasn't just a scavenger anymore. He was a guardian in his own right, guided by curiosity, courage, and the unshakable human spirit. Outside, stars glimmered in the endless void, indifferent yet beautiful. Inside the hangar, Marcus Hale and an ancient guardian prepared for the challenges ahead. Humanity's edge was not in weapons or numbers, but in the one thing the galaxy had underestimated: human ingenuity. And for the first time, Marcus felt like he belonged not just in space, but in history itself. The hangar was quiet now, but Marcus didn't feel relief. The echoes of the pirate retreat still lingered in his mind, a reminder that word of the warship's existence could spread fast. He knew the galaxy was full of opportunists, and this warship, ancient and powerful, would be irresistible to the wrong people. But Marcus wasn't scared. Not anymore. He had Ariane, the Guardian, and a growing understanding of the warship's systems. And more importantly, he had humans' greatest advantage: imagination. "All right, Ariane," Marcus said, pacing in front of the cockpit. "We survived the first test. Now what? How do we unlock the real power of this ship?" "Careful," Ariane replied, pulsing softly. "This ship was built for war against civilizations older than your own. Its weapons are potent. Its history is dangerous. To unlock its true potential requires understanding beyond simple repair. You must comprehend its systems, its purpose, and its legacy." Marcus ran his fingers along the console, tracing glyphs and symbols that seemed to respond to touch. Panels shifted and expanded, revealing layers of control systems, weapon schematics, and a massive network of star maps showing locations of battles long past. He leaned closer, absorbing the information. "This is insane. Centuries of history, locked in a ship I bought for $12. I can barely wrap my head around it." "Yet you adapt," Ariane said. "Unlike the civilizations that built me, you do not rush blindly into power. You observe, experiment, learn. That is why you are remarkable. Marcus felt a thrill. Ancient civilizations had built warships like this, yet humans, simple, untested humans, were now interacting with it in ways even Arion hadn't anticipated. He realized something important. The warship wasn't just a weapon, it was a test. It was waiting for someone who could use it wisely. He spent the next hours exploring deeper corridors of the ship, activating dormant systems with Arion's guidance. Lights traced intricate patterns across walls, revealing murals of battles, star systems, and strange alien creatures. Marcus could almost feel the intensity of these ancient conflicts, as if the ship remembered every strike, every victory, every loss. These systems were built to control entire fleets, Arion explained, but most civilizations lacked the patience or discipline to wield them responsibly. They destroyed themselves before understanding the consequences. Marcus nodded, absorbing the lesson. He had seen enough greed and short-sightedness in human history to understand. Humanity had flaws, yes, but also something rare: adaptability and resilience. As he delved further, he found the command core, a massive chamber of glowing energy and complex alien circuits. Panels flickered as he approached. "This has to be it," Marcus whispered. "The heart of the ship." "Correct," Arion said. "Through this core flows the ship's consciousness, its memory, and its power. To access it fully, you must prove your worth. Understand that power is not given lightly." Marcus approached cautiously, placing his hands on the console. Energy pulsed beneath his fingertips, warm and alive. Images flashed before his eyes. Fleets of alien warships, battles raging across countless star systems, entire civilizations collapsing under the weight of war. He stepped back, breathless. "This is too much. I don't know if humans could ever handle this kind of power."
"Not humans in general," Arion replied. "Humans like you may."
Courage, creativity, improvisation. These qualities are rare, even among your kind. They make you worthy of wielding what others cannot. Suddenly alarms blared. Not outside, inside the ship. Panels flickered red. Marcus's heart pounded as Arion's presence surged beside him. "Rivals approach," Arion said. "A faction more dangerous than pirates. They have tracked the ship. You must prepare." Marcus clenched his fists. "Bring them on. Let's see what humans can really do." Outside, a fleet of sleek black ships appeared, moving faster and more coordinated than the pirates. This was no scavenger group. These were professional, trained, and well-armed. The kind of people who would kill without hesitation. Marcus rushed to the cockpit, Arion guiding his hands over panels he barely understood. Defensive systems activated. Shields flared around the hangar. Automated turrets hummed to life. Marcus felt the thrill of anticipation. This was it, a real test of human ingenuity against overwhelming odds. The first wave struck. Energy blasts collided with shields, lighting the hangar in violent flashes. Marcus quickly analyzed the enemy patterns, improvising defenses in real time. He directed the warship's automated weapons, combined with clever drone tactics and holographic decoys. The enemy faltered, confused by unconventional maneuvers. "You are unpredictable," Arion said. "That is why they cannot anticipate you. Humans are difficult to calculate." Marcus smirked, adrenaline surging. "You have no idea." Hours passed. Each wave of enemy ships was met with Marcus's ingenuity. He rerouted power to reinforce weak points, set traps using ancient systems in ways Arion hadn't anticipated, and exploited gaps in enemy tactics. Slowly, the tide began to turn. The professional fleet, confident at first, was now struggling against a human's unpredictable approach. In the midst of the battle, Marcus discovered another feature of the ship: ancient weapons, dormant but accessible. Massive energy cannons aligned along the hull, capable of devastating firepower. Marcus hesitated, knowing the danger, but Arion guided him carefully. Controlled precision. Not destruction for its own sake, Marcus activated a single cannon targeting the lead enemy ship. A beam of energy sliced through space, disabling the enemy without destroying the vessel. The other ships hesitated, recognizing the warship's capability. Marcus's human cunning combined with ancient power was unmatched. By nightfall, the rival fleet had retreated, unable to overcome the combined ingenuity of human thought and the warship's latent strength. Marcus sank into the pilot's seat, exhausted but elated. "We did it. I can't believe it. We did it." "You are learning," Ariane said, its tone approving. "You understand that power alone is not enough. Strategy, creativity, and courage, these define true strength. Humanity's edge is not numbers or technology. It is spirit." Marcus leaned back, catching his breath. The warship hummed beneath him, alive and responsive. He realized that Ariane was not just a guardian. Ariane was a teacher, showing him the potential of combining human thought with ancient technology. "There are more secrets," Ariane continued. "Hidden systems, lost knowledge, and other vessels remain scattered across the galaxy. If you choose to seek them, you may shape the future." Marcus felt a rush of purpose. "Then we're not done yet. We've only scratched the surface. This warship, it's just the beginning." He looked out at the stars, endless and infinite, imagining the challenges ahead. Human ingenuity, he realized, was limitless when combined with courage and curiosity. Ancient civilizations had underestimated humans. He would not. Somewhere deep in the warship, systems continued to awaken, responding to Marcus's touch, his thoughts, his decisions. The vessel remembered him, and in return, he learned from it. Together, they were more than the sum of their parts. And in the darkness beyond the hangar, other threats were stirring. Rival factions would return, more prepared, more ruthless. But Marcus smiled, determination blazing in his eyes. He had survived this encounter. He had adapted. And he had learned that humanity's greatest weapon was imagination, courage, and the ability to turn even the impossible into opportunity. Ariane pulsed, a steady glow filling the cockpit. "You have earned my trust, and the ship's. But know this, the trials ahead will be greater. You must continue to adapt. You must continue to learn. Only then will the galaxy understand the strength of humans." Marcus clenched his fists. "Then let's see who's ready to learn." The warship hummed in response, alive and attentive. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, indifferent but full of potential. And for the first time, Marcus Hale felt that humans, fragile as they might seem, could face anything. The galaxy was watching. And Marcus, with Ariane by his side and ingenuity as his weapon, was ready to prove that humanity's edge was not in technology alone, but in heart, creativity, and courage. The stars outside the hangar stretched endlessly, but Marcus's focus was sharper than ever. He had faced pirates, rival fleets, and the sheer complexity of an ancient warship, and yet he was still standing. Sweat dripped down his forehead as he adjusted the controls, Ariane's calm presence guiding him. "The final systems are now accessible," Ariane said, its voice like a low hum in Marcus's mind. "This will unlock the ship's true potential, but it is a test. The galaxy will respond to those who wield such power." Marcus swallowed hard. True potential. He had felt glimpses of it before. The energy coursing through the hull, the hum of dormant weapons, the flickering of ancient star maps. But now, it would all be real, all at once. He took a deep breath and touched the command core. Energy flowed into him, warm, alive, and pulsing in sync with his heartbeat. Panels lit up across the ship, revealing hundreds of systems he had never seen before. Navigation grids capable of predicting enemy movement, defensive shields that adapted to every type of attack, weapons that could strike with precision across light years. "It is more than I imagined," Marcus whispered. "This is insane." "Do not underestimate it," Ariane replied. "Control is not just about power. You must understand consequences, responsibility, and strategy. Humanity has never held this alone. You must prove worthy. Marcus nodded, determination settling over him. He had already survived attacks and learned from Arion. Now it was time to test his ingenuity in a way no human had ever done before. The warning came almost immediately. Sensors detected a fleet, larger than anything Marcus had faced, sleek black ships glinting in the starlight, armed to the teeth, advancing with precision. This was no scavenger group. This was a professional force, a faction intent on claiming the warship and its secrets. "All right, Arion," Marcus said, tightening his grip on the console. "Let's show them why humans are dangerous." "Patience, observation, adaptation," Arion instructed. "Use their expectations against them. They will underestimate you." The enemy fleet opened fire. Energy beams streaked toward the hangar, colliding with shields and showers of sparks. Marcus's heart pounded, but his mind was calm. He had learned to think like the ship, to anticipate and adapt. He rerouted power to the ship's adaptive shields, creating overlapping layers that absorbed and reflected the attacks. Turrets powered by the warship's AI sprang to life, firing with surgical precision. Marcus added his own human touch. Small drones to confuse enemy targeting, holographic decoys mimicking the ship, and timed disruptions in the hangar's gravity to throw off the attacker's aim. "You are unpredictable," Arion said, admiration in its voice. "That is the human advantage," Marcus smiled. "And we're just getting started." Hours passed. The enemy tried every tactic, every maneuver, every trick in their arsenal. But Marcus, combining human ingenuity with the warship's ancient systems, countered each one. He anticipated their moves, created traps, and used the ship's latent power strategically. He wasn't just surviving. He was teaching the galaxy a lesson. Then came the turning point. Marcus discovered a dormant subsystem labeled Celestial Array, a series of long-range energy cannons capable of targeting multiple ships across light years. He hesitated, knowing the destructive potential, but Arion guided him. "Precision, control, responsibility," it warned. "Not destruction for its own sake." Marcus activated the system. The energy cannons glowed, tracing targets with exact calculations. Beams of light struck enemy ships with pinpoint accuracy, disabling them without unnecessary destruction. The enemy fleet faltered, realizing too late that Marcus had turned their own aggression into weakness. "You are learning faster than anticipated," Arion said, its voice pulsing with approval. "Humans have an instinct for adaptation that cannot be predicted." Marcus laughed, a sound of pure exhilaration. "You're telling me humans might actually be the ultimate weapon?" "Not a weapon," Arion corrected. "A force of ingenuity and spirit. You are dangerous because you are unpredictable, and because you can rise where others fail." By nightfall, the enemy fleet had been neutralized. The hangar was quiet again, the warship humming with energy. Marcus slumped into the pilot's seat, exhausted but exhilarated. He had survived impossible odds, combined human creativity with alien technology, and learned more about the warship than anyone had in centuries. "You have proven yourself," Arion said. "The ship's systems now recognize your authority. You are its guardian. But remember, the galaxy holds greater challenges, more cunning rivals, and threats beyond imagination. Humanity's edge will be tested continuously." Marcus nodded, determination blazing in his eyes. "Then we'll keep rising. We'll keep adapting. We'll show the galaxy what humans are capable of." He looked out at the stars, endless and infinite, and realized the truth. Humans were underestimated, because their greatest weapons weren't power or technology. They were creativity, courage, and imagination. These were qualities no ancient civilization had mastered, and now they gave humans an edge the galaxy couldn't ignore. In the quiet of the hangar, Marcus walked the corridors of the warship, feeling the energy thrumming beneath his feet. Systems responded to his touch, almost like recognition. He felt a deep bond forming with the vessel. It was no longer just a machine. It was a partner, a teacher, and a weapon guided by wisdom. "There are more like this," Arian said softly. "Other ships, other relics scattered across the galaxy. If humanity seeks them, if humans prove worthy, your kind may rise to a place among the stars no other race has achieved." Marcus's mind raced with possibilities. He imagined exploring uncharted sectors, finding other ancient vessels, mastering their secrets, and using them not for domination, but to protect humanity and preserve knowledge. He realized that this was more than survival. It was opportunity, the chance to shape the galaxy through human ingenuity. As he sat in the cockpit, the stars outside endless and indifferent, Marcus made a silent promise. He would learn everything about the warship, protect its secrets, and use it wisely. He would prove that humanity's greatest strength was its spirit, its curiosity, and its ability to rise when the odds seemed impossible. The hum of the warship grew stronger, almost like a heartbeat syncing with his own. Marcus smiled, feeling a surge of hope and purpose. For the first time, he understood what Arion had been trying to teach all along. Humans were not defined by their technology, numbers, or even their history. Humans were defined by their courage to act, their creativity to solve the impossible, and their relentless drive to survive and grow. And Marcus Hale, a man who had bought a hangar for $12, had just proven it to the galaxy. Outside, stars sparkled, silent witnesses to a human triumph. Inside, a warship older than most civilizations hummed in recognition of a human who dared to think differently, act boldly, and embrace the unknown. Humanity's story, once overlooked, had begun to carve itself into the galaxy's history. "The journey is only beginning," Arian said, "and humans will continue to rise." Marcus took a deep breath and looked out at the horizon of stars. He knew he had only scratched the surface, but he also knew one truth, now proven beyond doubt: humans, clever and daring, could rise where others would fail, and no ancient power could ignore them. With a firm hand on the controls and Arian guiding him, Marcus Hale piloted the warship out of the hangar, leaving behind a trail of light across the dark expanse of space. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers, wonders, and secrets, and humans, his kind, were ready to meet it all. The warship, alive and aware, pulsed in harmony with him. Together, they would explore, survive, and redefine what it meant to be human. And somewhere out there, waiting in the void, the next adventure and the next test was already forming. Marcus grinned. "Let's show them what humans can do." And the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, watching, waiting, as humanity's legend took flight.